But Zimbabwe prospered, promising to be post-colonial Africa's economic and social success story, enriching whites and blacks alike. Mugabe himself was fated by the West, but that changed. Autocratic and corrupt, his style of government proved disastrous for the economy. Once known as Africa's breadbasket, Zimbabwe became an economic basket case. As food riots erupted, he found a way to channel simmering unrest, unleashing supporters on the country's white farmers, the backbone of its agricultural economy. The government's seizure of estates began white flight and financial meltdown. As the economy disintegrated, he warned Europeans in general and the British government in particular against interfering.
We have won our independence, and we are prepared to shed our blood in sustenance and maintenance and protection of that independence. We have not asked for any inch of Europe or any square inch of that territory. So, Blair, keep your England and let me keep my Zimbabwe.
In a rare interview, he told Sky News that foreign powers should keep their noses out of Zimbabwe's affairs.
When the situation is amorphous and the people do not have that sense of nationalism, then of course you can be undermined very easily and undermined by external forces. That's why what countries like Britain want us to be. So they can, be using their neo-colonialist methods, to try and affect our countries by way of sabotage, by way of trying to rule us indirectly.
Though he claimed a further presidential mandate in 2002, persistent questions over the Poles' conduct began to lose Zimbabwe its dwindling core of foreign friends. The movement for democratic change under the leadership of Morgan Tsvangirai accused him of rigging the vote. Despite sanctions and international condemnation, President Mugabe remained unrepentant and unrestrained. Tsvangirai himself was savagely beaten by police during an anti-government protest. Whole areas suspected of supporting the opposition were bulldozed in the name of slum clearance. Much of the foreign media was banned. Whether he actually believed it or not, to the end he argued he was right and his country's problems were caused by outsiders.
Okay.
Casting his last vote as president, he conceded, if you lose an election and are rejected by the people, it's time to leave politics. While Mugabe and his inner circle amassed fortunes with apparent impunity, his marriage to Grace, an ambitious and greedy First Lady, began to turn the public, and more importantly, the military, against him. Her extravagant shopping trips and her sons posting huge drink spills on social media and pouring champagne over $60,000 watches appalled many. But Grace's efforts to become her husband's successor signalled the end for President Mugabe. The military took over the streets, and Mugabe's former right-hand man, Emerson Mnangagwa, returned to a rapturous inauguration as the new president. For Mugabe, the closing bell had finally chimed, as he long feared it might.
I know what it is, to work with people, to hear them talk, to allow them to, play a part in your life. And this is, I think, what has carried me to this day. And although I sit here as president, I know that that post I owe to the people.
In truth, he leaves a battered country still hoping that democracy may flourish once more. A return to a democracy whose values he trampled, whose rewards he squandered, and whose people he paupered. It will be a challenge, but Robert Gabriel Mugabe won't be there. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News.